everyone, thank you for watching my TED Talk today. I'm going to be talking about cyberbullying and what that looks like for us as teachers. First of all, what exactly is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying, as an overview, is using a piece of technology to threaten or intimidate someone else, which causes them emotional distress or causes them to make harsh physical actions. This is different from regular bullying because cyberbullying can be a Facebook message, text message, comment, mean photos posted, any harsh use of a social media or technology in any sort of way, whereas regular bullying is more of a face-to-face kind of thing, like laughing at someone, making mean comment as they walk by, or touching them, like hitting them or something like that, whereas cyberbullying is just like, there's like a wall through the technology. Why do people cyberbully? So in general, bullying happens because of peer pressure. People, they want to look cool, they want to fit in, they're being egged on, some sort of thing like that. There's also low self-esteem and the feeling of power, which kind of go hand in hand, because with low self-esteem, the bullies are putting someone down to make themselves feel better about themselves, which in return gives this feeling of power that they're greater than the person that they're bullying. Cyberbullying happens because of those previously listed things, but also it makes the bullying seem almost anonymous, because you can do it anonymously, create fake profiles or something like that. And also there's this ignorance of consequences, because when you're bullying, you can't see what is happening if you're doing it online. You can't see the person crying or being really upset that you're bullying them. To the right of the screen are some bullying facts, and it tells us that the average cyberbully starts at 9 years old, which is crazy to me, because I know that 9-year-olds have like phones and stuff now, but like the use of social media and stuff is just getting younger, and that's like age 9 just blows my mind. But it also tells us that 42% of kids have been bullied online, which is almost half, which is a crazy amount. 35% of them have been threatened online, 21% have received threatening messages via email, and 58% of these have not told an adult about anything, which is very sad. It also tells us that 1 in 5 teenagers have received an unwanted sexual solicitation online, and only 1 in 3 houses with internet actively protect their children, which is something else that we will briefly address later in the presentation. So Florida has 3 different laws in place that protect students and employees against cyberbullying. So the first is our statutes, and there's a section called the Jeffrey Johnston Stand Up for All Students Act, which basically gives each school district the power to create their own policy, and it tells them that every 3 years they need to either adopt or review their policy. But it's not cyberbullying specific. It talks about actions that can be cyberbullying, but it's not very specifically driven towards cyberbullying. But in 2013, there were 2 different Senate bills passed. The Senate Bill 609, which ensured that cyberbullying was specifically addressed in the laws regarding bullying, and then Senate Bill 626 granted schools the ability to reprimand bullies whenever the actions interfered with a student's school activities or their safety. So if like a text message happened outside of school on a personal cell phone, but it was interfering with a student's grades or something like that, the school now has the legal right to take action against that and reprimand the bully. It also is super awesome because it identifies emotional pain as a result that is punishable. So it's not just grade slipping or not coming to school or something like that, which is super cool. This one is actually named after an albino student who was really harshly bullied, and now her mom is this huge bullying person who like goes around to different schools and gives all these bullying talks and how to prevent it and report it and all these things, and it's super cool. So cyberbullying can be very serious. I found at least a dozen cases, which is a dozen cases too many, of students who were pressured into suicide through cyberbullying, people telling them to kill themselves and things like that. So it's something to keep in mind. Obviously, not every case is that extreme, but it's good to be aware that it can be that serious and that you need to do something about it. So kind of going back to the Florida state statute where each county has to do their own policy, I looked up a few of the different ones for counties in Florida, and it seemed to me that they were all exactly the same. So I listed here what the consequences are for it, and it listed ranging from positive behavioral interventions up to and including suspension or expulsion as outlined in the Code of Student Conduct. So it's very vague. It almost seems like the consequences are deemed as the county sees fit. So as a teacher, there are a few things to keep in mind. Learn to recognize it. Is the student's behavior changing? Are their grades slipping? Are they not showing up to class? Are their friend groups changing? Like, this is something you can notice on lunch duty, or if you're hanging out by the where they all gather in the morning before the bell rings or something like that. It can be very serious. And you can also remind students that they have power, so encouraging them to speak up for each other and make sure that they know the ways that they can report cyberbullying, because some of them may not know or they may feel intimidated about it. And that is a good job for you to make sure that they know how. So there's another thing. Make students aware. Remind them that bullying is absolutely unacceptable. Not just cyberbullying, but any bullying is not okay. And they need to know that it's okay that they can talk to an adult about it if it's happening to them or someone that they know. The other thing is the teacher is learning to respond properly. So how the statute says that it ranges from positive behavioral interventions up to and including the suspension. Like, sometimes being kicked out of school isn't entirely, the best thing to do. That counseling can offer some really great benefits. Sometimes students just need to talk to someone. The other thing is to let the victim be a part of the solution and have a hand in making the situation better. And as a teacher, it's very important to have rules in place that dictate the right and wrong behavior in a classroom, and to make sure that students know that you're absolutely going to have no tolerance for anything like that. The last thing is very important, is to involve the teachers. So ensuring the parents understand the school's cyberbullying policy, and encouraging the parents to be a part of their students' lives. Not only, what's going on in your class, but also what's going on in their students' lives on their cell phones, and what apps they're using and who they're talking to, and making sure that their students are safe and protected. Sometimes schools can even offer workshops for parents to make sure that they are up to date on ways that they can protect their students. So I came up with a few rules for the classroom. When using technology, it's important, like I said, to have these so students know that you have clear expectations for them. Here are just a few. The first one, which I personally think is the very most important one, is to say, if you don't say it in person, do not say it through technology. I feel like it's very straightforward. The second one is to stay on task, so you make sure that students aren't doing unwanted behavior on your clock. And don't be afraid to talk to me about anything that makes you uncomfortable, so that students know that they can talk to you if they see cyberbullying or something like that, that you will help them do something about it. The last rule is to use positive language when talking to your peers. So lifting each other up, saying like, I like this, but this is what you can do, like not tearing each other down. So the more knowledgeable you are, the safer you can make your classroom. I cannot tell you how many different types of things are out there, resources for you to use. Just Google cyberbullying in the classroom, and there are like tons of ways to talk about it, address it, things like that. And of course, there's stopbullying.gov, and that is also a super cool resource. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.